Everybody, this is JD Curry with the Pioneer Podcast on the WETD 90.7 FM, the League College radio station. Today, my guests are from the Alfred State baseball team. The baseball team has started the season off this year with 3 wins. Baseball in the middle of winter. I'm not sure how they are already playing baseball, but this is one of the many questions that I have for them today. Let's get started, shall we? So go ahead, guys, and introduce yourselves to me and the listeners.
What's up, guys? I'm Jack Henby. I'm a 21-year-old junior on the baseball team. I'm a team captain, and I play right field.
I'm AJ Gartland. I'm a junior as well. I'm also a team captain. I'm a starting pitcher.
Okay, so how long have you guys been playing baseball, and when did you join the Alfred State team?
I've been playing baseball since I was quite young in T-ball, and I ended up joining the baseball team my freshman year when I got here in 2017.
Yeah, I think I started when I was 4 and just played every summer all the way through. Even in the winters, anytime I get my hands on a ball, I was there. And I came in with Jack. We were our new coach's first recruiting class, and we've been together ever since here.
So what are 2 reasons that each of you like being part of a team sport?
Well, especially being in such a veteran position, being a captain, I really like being able to lead the team and people to look up to me. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. And I also just love just playing, doing something, competing, having fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's really the people for me. Meeting guys like Jack and the rest of the guys that really become like a second family to me. And the bonds I made here are definitely going to last as long as I live, honestly. And that's something that I've come to appreciate a lot since I got here.
So what is each of your favorite part of competing?
For me, it's that heat of the moment, and either whether you're in it or watching somebody else on your team being able to rise up to that occasion, especially coming out on top. And I think that's really cool, especially even when you don't win that occasion. You still end up learning some good lessons, and yeah, competing's really good.
Yeah, I think everything he said, and even to the point that I don't know, competing seems to bring out the best in me. It makes me kind of want to become a better version of myself, and I just love waking up every day, kind of looking for ways to make myself better, whether it's through baseball or school or anything. So I think that's what I love the most about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack, you touched on the adrenaline. How do you guys work with anxiety?
Well, our coach has a really good relationship with another guy who likes to come in and teach us how to kind of calm ourselves, and how we call it centering, and really just using your breathing and mindfulness to get in that right state of mind and also get the weight off your shoulders.
Okay. How would you say, what aspects, what each of you is saying makes a good captain?
I think a huge part would be communication. I think that's one of the things that I always look to do the best. I was trying almost over-communicate, because if you over-communicate, you really can't get much wrong. And I think over this year we've grown a lot in that respect. And I think the more we communicate, whether it's off the field or on, we just become a better team.
Yeah, I think another aspect as well is, especially for a guy like me, is being able to create good interpersonal relationships with your teammates, but also when you get to practice and get to the field, that you can kind of flip that switch and kind of get everyone more serious, I guess you could say.
How would you say being an athlete makes you a better person?
That's it's a tough one to think about, but when you start to really get into it, I think baseball has taught me most of my life lessons about failure and about other people and relationships. And I think that was even furthered with Coach Armstrong and the way he runs the program. It's been really interesting to learn so much about myself these past 2.5 years, and every day I'm learning more. And I definitely feel like I'm a better person because I came to Alfred and I played baseball.
Yeah, to go off of that, I really think having that name on the front of your shirt and kind of just gives you a reason to go out and stand a little bit taller, act a little bit nicer, and be just an overall better person mentally and physically.
Was there someone who inspired you to get involved with baseball? If so, how did they inspire you?
Dad for you?
No,
Really?
it was when I was young. I got a because I was always playing a bunch of sports when I was younger, but when I really honed into baseball, I got this children's book, and it was called Jorge, and it was kind of a picture book, and it was how Jorge learned to switch hit. And I remember getting that one day. It might have even been my birthday, and I read it. And so it was pretty late into October, and so it's like playoff baseball. And then I go in, and I just remember seeing Jorge hit a switch bomb. And it just was the coolest thing for me, especially after reading that book. So that's what really got me into it.
So for people that don't know, what is a switch hit?
It's when a hitter can bat either in the right-handed batter's box or left-handed batter's box.
I think for me, it was definitely my dad. He put a ball in my hand and a bat in my hand when I was when I could walk. Honestly, I mean, there are pictures of me in like the family photo albums and stuff. You know, before I was riding a bike or before I was doing any of those like landmark things for a kid, I was hitting off a tee. I was playing wiffle ball. I was throwing stuff around the room, and so I just kind of grew into it and
became a champion.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Yeah.
Do you believe the attitude that you bring to the sport plays a role in how you do in a competition?
For sure, 100%. And I think that's one of the things I've had to grow the most at personally is how I carry myself, because one thing we learn a lot about is your actions can make your attitude. So you walk into a room and you act a certain way, you're going to believe that. And if you let your actions and your intent kind of create the attitude you want when you enter a competition, you can become kind of the best competitor you can be. And once you kind of master that, kind of goes back to the whole managing stress thing. No situation is too big for you. And once you act the way you want to, you're going to start believing it. You're going to be a lot more confident. And so I think that attitude is huge. It's one of the biggest things, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so do you believe, so as I've said already, you guys have already played a few games, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where are you guys playing? I'm assuming it's not in New York.
Yeah, I mean we've gone down to Virginia and Maryland a few times just to kind of get out of the weather, get some good games in. AJ can even tell you a little bit more about it. Like we went down to Virginia and played another New York team. You know, that's just like how crazy kind of New York baseball is, especially without having like a turf field or some other place like that.
Yeah, so we went down to Ferrum, Virginia last weekend, and we played the college at Ferrum, but we also played Brockport. They came down, and we beat them once, they beat us once. It was a pretty good win for the program. But yeah, it's kind of funny. You'll go down south, and then you'll play teams that you could have driven, 2 hours from Alfred to their campus and played them normally, but really can't play, right now up north. So we've been to Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia so far, and we're going to be heading down to Virginia again, then South Carolina and Florida next weekend and for spring break.
So how many games do you guys actually get in up here in New York?
I believe by the time we get back from spring break, we'll start sort of the northern part of our schedule. We'll play about half our season down south and the last half up north. And then about a half of that half is going to be at home. So about 10 games at home.
And then most others are in like Pennsylvania, because that's where a lot of our conference is based as well.
Which division is Alfred?
We're Division III.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the part of the AMCC, Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference.
Yeah. I think you got that one right.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's called, but I know we just got to beat everyone who plays in it. So.
Yeah.
So So I think you already touched on this, but how is your record so far this season?
So we're 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
We started 3-1, and then we had a tough Sunday. We dropped 2 in a row against 2 pretty good teams. But this year, it's easy to say now, but I really think it does. It feels a lot different, and we look a lot better and a lot stronger early in the season than we have in previous years. So I think I can speak for Jack that we're both really excited about the team.
For sure.
So how do you see last year's results, and how are they going to influence you this year?
I mean, we kind of look at the last year's record, and we kind of, I mean, for me especially when I look at it, I see like we're right on the cusp of being able to grasp something so big that, you know, can really change and turn the tides for a program like we've been in for the past couple of years.
Yeah. Before we made the transition to a 4-year school, we were a really successful junior college for baseball, and we're trying to get back into that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last season marked a turning point. I think this season is when we finally break into that winning tradition again. Last year we were right around 500. We made the conference playoffs. We went 11-7 in conference, and all those things are kind of adding up to hopefully a really successful year this year.
Well, seeing we've got a lot of time left, we can do some oddball questions.
Sweet.
So, who was your guys' athlete role model when you were growing up?
You can take this one.
Well, I mean, like I already said, it was Jorge Posada, especially for baseball, but like all around, I'd have to say Walter Payton. I just think, like, being young, I never really got to watch him play just because he was an old-timer player, but just kind of the way he was as a person, and especially him dominating, like, all of the NFL every year he was there. I think, I really looked up to him as just an athlete role model.
So, was he actually, did he, you said NFL, so that's football.
Yeah.
So did he actually play, like, the major leagues of baseball also?
No, he actually did not. But I just think as an athlete, I really looked up to him. But for baseball, it's definitely Mike Trout. He's just the greatest ball player out there and carries a great head on his shoulders.
Yeah, I think Mike Trout's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
I know when I was growing up, someone that really shaped me, well, one was Derek Jeter, just because I was a young kid.
Can't deny that.
Jeter was playing, and I'm a Yankees fan. But as far as pitching goes, I love CC Sabathia. He was someone I always looked up to, and I always just strive to be that bulldog that CC was, and didn't matter what was going on or what team he was on, he would will every single pitch past the batter, and he would literally just put teams on his back and take them to the playoffs. And I want to be that person for Alfred, you know, and so that's kind of someone I like to look at.
CC was a horse.
Yes.
So, were these guys, like, are they retired now?
Everyone except Mike Trout, yes. CC just retired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a long career, didn't he?
He did. He played for the Brewers. Oh, God, the Yankees. I don't even know who else, but, yeah.
So, who are the guys that are, like, playing right now that you are excited to see or to follow?
I mean, if you're a baseball fan, you gotta understand that Mike Trout, what he's doing right now, is something that we may never see again.
Yeah.
He's the epitome of elite athlete, honestly, in all facets of the game, and it's must watch TV whenever he's playing. As far as guys like any new prospects or anyone you're excited to see?
Oh, new prospects! I gotta go with Clint Frazier. Like, just seeing him, like, he did so well last season when he got in the game. It's just the people above him, like, better contracts, like, you know, kind of the smarter decision, I guess, to look into playing the game. But he can be such a big asset to really any team he goes on, hitting wise especially.
Yeah.
And I want to see Mookie Betts do really good in LA. Cause I want a Mookie Betts jersey.
So, do you guys know when the first home game would be?
I mean,
it's deep.
Yeah, that it is.
Seems pretty far off.
Yeah, and even we could tell you the date. You could go look it up, but will bet you a lot of money that it is not the day they say it
Yes,
is, because you just never know the weather. I mean, we've had games where it's beautiful up until game day, and then it downpours, and so we can't play. We've had times where it's pouring up until game day, and then we do play. It's really just a shot in the dark. But if we know our coach at all, we will have home games. We will be playing, and it's going to be fun to watch. We got a really good team this year. So, you know, we're hoping to get a lot of support and try and bring another conference title to the school for sure.
So how would fans keep up with you guys? Is there like live streams of your games or?
Some fields we go to have live streams, but mostly it's our stats guy just doing live stats in the game from wherever he is.
And we're really active on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, you just gotta come out and watch.
Yeah.
that's the best way to see it. We definitely keep it light. We keep it loose. It's definitely not your typical, you know, boring baseball game, as some people would say. You know, you can tell by watching that we're just a huge family and we love being around each other, and I think we're fun to be around.
We like to
especially
have
if you're
fun.
rooting for us.
We like to have fun.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make these practices fun?
I mean, really, for me, it's just keeping that high energy, and you know, when something random happens, like it's just kind of go off that, and then come right back, and still just go in. Like, I mean, you can't keep it too loose. Obviously, you got to be straightforward, but I mean, keeping the game loose, just making a little quip here and there is always fun. Keeps it light.
It's really key. I mean, baseball can be such a tedious game.
Yeah.
I think more than any sport, really practice is centered around the fundamentals and the same moves and the same, you know, strategies for every position over and over again. So to have that attitude to just take everything in stride and keep it light and keep guys on their toes is huge. But then to have kind of the presence to bring it back and focus, to strike that balance really is the mark of a successful practice.
We have like 2-hour practices. You know, games get up to 3.5 hours. You don't want to treat them like a timeout. You know, you still want to have fun, so you want to like keep showing up every day.
Yeah.
I had another question, just I forgot because these are not actually written down.
On the fly.
Got any good stories from your times playing baseball and practices?
I mean, I don't know if this is a good story, but last Sunday we played 2 baseball games, got done around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then we drove 10 hours back to Alfred. Definitely wasn't a good story Monday morning, but wow, that was tough. But, you know, one of those attitude things, you know, you just got to take it in stride and, you know, I mean, I'd rather be sitting on a bus than in my room studying for a test. You know, I love waking up every day knowing that no matter how bad it might be, there's always something to do, you know, for baseball and with the family. I think that's huge.
So how much do grades like impact an athlete?
I think that question flipped around is a lot more like how much does being an athlete affect grades? It's a lot. The grades, as far as we go, we have to keep above a 2.0 to be able to play per the NCAA rules, and most guys are well above that.
Yeah.
But that's really the only time that the grades would really impact us negatively. But I know last year, you know, we had a few guys with 4.0s. We had a lot of guys above 3.5, above 3.75. So we definitely stay on top of our stuff.
Yeah, it's really as far as you let them get to you. I mean, it takes on a huge load being an athlete, but it's always, you know, you can always overcome the obstacle.
Yeah.
So where would a new person next semester get involved with baseball, or how would that?
I would say start early. Our coach is huge with like communication, emailing. Just reach out to coach as soon as possible, even if Alfred, even if you're just, you know, even if it's just a thought in your mind. I mean, that's what I did, and I ended up here. I never thought I'd actually be here, but I still reached out, and it's crazy how things change. But it's definitely a pretty competitive recruiting process. I mean, our roster is already pretty large, and we're not losing many guys next year, so it's really just about communication and showing interest.
So where would they find your coach's email, or do you want to say it?
I have no clue what his email is, but it's on the website.
Yeah, if you just look up like the roster or something, you'll find our coach's name, and then you could further get his email from there.
Yeah, everything's on the athletics page, baseball
Yeah.
team.
I don't really want to disclose his lair, but he's in orbit somewhere.
Yeah. Probably see him walking around.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a short show, but thanks you guys for coming down to the station to talk about the team.
Of course. Happy
Thanks,
to do
man.
it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I can
Appreciate it.
definitely let people know about your games, your home games.
of course.
You know.
Yeah,
Sweet.
that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Show out. Follow the Instagram page too.
Yep. Good stuff being posted there.
Yep.
Okay, so before I go, here are some events that you students want to that us students want to watch out for this weekend, both of which are tonight. The International Club's Community Potluck is in the SLC 401 from 6 to 7 p.m. And the APB's Just Mercy movie is going to be in the SLC Park Space from 9 to 11 p.m. That is it for this episode of the Pioneer Podcast on the WETD 90.7 The League radio station. The video for this episode will be up before the last two videos. So I figured I was going to have more time to actually edit the shows, but I didn't, so now I'm just going to record from one angle. Hopefully that goes well, and I'll adjust if not. So take care, Pioneers, and talk to you soon.